And we are live. This is Canada Hoops Daily Live Hangout. We're watching Canada versus France. Olympic tune-up, Olympic qualifier here. My name is Sheldon Alexander. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will be watching some basketball here. Canada versus France. Olympics are right around the corner. So, of course, we're hyped up for this one as Canada takes on France, which is a preview of what will be going on soon as these two teams will meet during the actual Olympics. So this will be huge. This is what a lot of people have been waiting for. A lot of people have been waiting to watch as, of course, Team Canada, highly anticipated Olympics coming up for Canada. As mentioned, my name is Sheldon Alexander, and this is the Canada Hoops Daily Live Hangout. We're just going to watch some basketball. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do over this summer. Basketball's on. We'll be here to watch some ball. So tune in, send in your questions. A bunch of different places where you can watch with us and hang out with us. But if you want to be a part of the show, go to YouTube, go to the Sheldon Alexander page on YouTube. And what you can do there is you can comment and be a part of the show, talk about what's going on, talk about what you see, what you think about Canada's squad, what you think about Wemby. Lots going on here. Canada right now up 17-13 in this game over France. Interesting side note, they mentioned on the broadcast, no Jamal Murray in this one. No word as to why yet, but I would assume it's exhibition, right? And, I would assume that the fact that, we know that there's a contract situation going on with Jamal Murray, and I would assume that there's probably some agreement like, hey, yeah, play for Canada, but save the bullets. You know what I mean? Like save those legs. Make sure you're playing for the big time games. And beyond that, no need to waste time in this one. They got another exhibition game coming up, but let's just watch this one, as this will be a lot of fun to see because France is a solid team. So yeah, we're here. Let's just watch some ball. Right now for Canada, Kem Birch, good to see him out there and playing. Andrew Nemhard, who I think is a huge pickup for Canada. He'll be big for them in this tournament for sure. Guard depth, you can't have too much of that. Nemhard just adds such a pace. Back-to-back points for Nemhard there, and it's like you see basically what happened with him in the Pacers last year, and it's just perfect for him. The pace of play that the Pacers played with. Transition that to Canada, and it's just looking great so far. Again, my name is Sheldon Alexander. Thank you for tuning in. People might be new to this. Canada Hoops Daily. We got the podcast up and running. Wrap It Up was back again. And if you're brand new to this, just know that we'll be doing these live hangouts during the Olympics. We'll watch Canada games, probably watch some US games as well. But yeah, just a different way of trying to do different content here. Enjoy some ball as we get an and one there from France. I'm sorry, but number 99 in basketball that's not cool. That's not cool. I can't rep that. I'm sorry. And it's interesting, right? Right here for Canada on the inside, you got Trey Lyles playing with Kem Birch in the middle and Kelly. So they got to be trying a bunch of different lineups because obviously we know if there is a place to worry about Team Canada, it is on the inside, right? That was a flop. Yo, Nemhard is balling, man. Nemhard with basically 6 straight points for Team Canada. And he's just getting whatever shot he wants because he can get into the paint whenever he wants, right? Haha, moving screen. And that's from Nikhil just playing defense, which as this tournament goes along, you're going to witness how important that is from your guards because all these teams, their guards can cook. In Olympic play, in international ball, it's such guard dominant, and all these guards can shoot, can make plays. And so if your guards don't defend, you're going to be in trouble. So that's why someone like Nikhil and even Andrew Nemhard, they'll be so important for Canada. They sub in Shea for a last second shot, but they go to Kelly instead, turn around Jimmy. Okay, Kelly. Okay, Kelly. And this is a beauty of Canada, right? They sub in Shea. Obviously, the anticipation is the ball has to go to Shea, right? Nope. Finds Kelly. Kelly gets the bucket. Great start for Canada, 25-19 over France. We obviously haven't seen a lot of Wemby. He played a bit to start the game, but not too much. And you get it. It's exhibition, right? Haven't seen a lot of Gobert. So this will be an interesting matchup. You want to see how things are going to start off for Canada, and they just got to get their reps in with all the guards that they have and the new additions. Would have been nice to see Jamal Murray for sure, but you get it. You understand, right? You understand why he's not in the lineup, I should say. And it's going to be a tough task for Canada against France, right? Like Gobert against Dwight Powell, that's a mismatch, right? The problem comes down to, is Rudy Gobert focused in on dominating in the paint, right? Shouts to my guy Mac, who says a Lyle Olenek Birch front court is a wrinkle that I did not expect to see. Agreed. But hey, like you got to try a bunch of different things, especially against this squad, right? And maybe this was something that they want to try out against Gobert, right? Or against Wemby, which we're not seeing yet because those guys aren't in the lineup. But I do like the wrinkle. I do like it. Got to try different things, right? See what's going down. Yeah, Canada basketball. Here's the official note from Canada basketball. They say Jamal Murray rest will miss tonight's exhibition game against France, just as a precaution. Rejoined the team earlier this week in France. His condition will be updated as appropriate. So nothing to worry about. And it's again, we want to save Jamal Murray for the actual Olympics. I get that he needs the reps for sure, but I mean, if we're being honest, his job on this team is go out and get buckets. I don't really think we need to overthink that. Nemhard finally misses. Wemby back in the game. France, it's so interesting, right? Wemby getting the ball, steps out from the paint, finds Koulibaly driving. Kelly almost knocked that one down. That's a foul? That's not a foul. Those are the touch fouls that when people wonder about Olympic basketball, that's the stuff they're always worried about. These little chintzy fouls. Interesting note here from Eric Kareen, who is a reporter. I mean, basketball people, if you're actually on this feed and watching this, you know who Eric Kareen is. But he says on Twitter, given the way Murray looked ending his season and having not reached a deal for an extension, I won't fully believe Jamal Murray will be playing in the Olympics until he's actually playing. Positive side, man, it's fun watching Dort and Brooks guard together. That's funny. I think that he's gonna play in the Olympics. He's just saving his legs. That's what I think. There were a couple years, if we think back to Steve Nash playing in the Olympics, where it's not like he was playing full minutes, going full bore, every single game, every single like pre-Olympic tune-up or qualifier. So it's interesting, especially when you're dealing with multi-million dollar contracts, right? You understand the risk, and it's more important to see him out there in the actual Olympic Games than it is to see him in the game. So I get it. I get it. I get it. But yeah, Lou Dort is just such a guy you want on your team. No, love. Give me some Lou Dort at any moment. Play defense, just nonstop engine, just motor running all over the place. Yo, Raptors fans love them some Nando DeColo. Is that Trey Lyles with no hesitation on the three there? Okay. Okay. Yo, Wemby looks like a video game, man. Wemby, top of the key, crossover, crossover, drive in the lane, finds a cutting guard. It doesn't look like real life. Like it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense watching Wembenyama. But he's so good. 27-23. Canada's still leading here. As Shea's back in the game with Dylan Brooks back in the game, Powell and Lyles and Nikhil looks like out there. A good mix. I think they're really just trying to find different combinations of how to try to match the size of Wemby and Rudy Gobert. Evan Fournier. He's definitely one of those international all-stars, we'll say. Evan Fournier always finding a way to just get buckets in international play. Like he turns into like Luca when he's in international ball, and it doesn't really translate to the NBA. But international ball, he gets busy. And look at this. This is interesting, right? This is where Canada on the full court press, and I think this is where they can really turn some games and where they'll have to win some games. They have to be athletic. They have to play defense. Okay, that's not a foul. That's a whack call. That's not a foul. That's just defense. The guard's not even trying to go anywhere. There's no need to make that call. And that's the interesting part of this Canada team too is being able to add Jamal Murray, add Nemhard, add Trey Lyles to the guys you already had in the World Cup. We saw where Canada's success came in the World Cup last summer, and that was when they defended, right? They got out, they played defense, they turned their defense into offense, got easy buckets, got out and ran. That's when things got easy for them in the World Cup. And the reality of that, though, is that's hard on Shea because Shea has to do a lot of the bucket getting or a lot of the creating. And that's a lot to ask on him. But now, look at that. You can't stop that. Shea with the hezzy and the lay in. But that's what I'm talking about, right? You want to see Shea do a lot more of that, and you can now because you have added depth behind him. Jeez, I'm sorry, but this is just every time we get to watch the best players in the world play against each other. That's dope. So watching Shea and Wemby trade buckets here, I don't know how you stop Wemby. I really don't. It's kind of scary thinking about what Wemby could possibly be next year. Big shouts to all the people watching our Canada Hoops Daily Live Hangout. We're watching Canada versus France here. Wemby and Shea going at it toe to toe, blow for blow. 31-28, Canada up, 6:18 left. And this is, yeah, if you're watching this, you know where you're watching it. Canada Hoops Daily feed. Just know that if you are watching this on the Canada Hoops Daily YouTube page, know that that YouTube page will not exist soon. All of the Canada Hoops Daily YouTube content you'll be able to find on the Sheldon Alexander page. So if you're watching that right now, make sure you go and subscribe to Sheldon Alexander on YouTube. That's where you'll find all the Canada Hoops Daily video content, which we'll be doing a bunch during this Olympic run here for Team Canada. And of course, we'll also talk some Team USA. Terrible turnover there from Evan Fournier. But yeah, if you want to send in comments and questions, that's how you can do that. Join us on the stream. All you got to do is make sure that you find us on YouTube at Sheldon Alexander. That's where you'll find all the Canada Hoops Daily content. Ruben is asking, where can I watch the game? CBC Gem. If you just go to CBC Gem, it's free, normal login with like your Google account or whatever. And there's a stream there where you can watch the game. Jeez. It's so funny watching Wemby take a turnaround fadeaway jumper because it's like, Wemby, you don't have to fade away. Nobody can block your shot, bro. Canada Dylan Brooks splashing in a three. Listen, I understand all the gimmicks, all the Dylan Brooks antics and all that. Dylan Brooks in a Canada jersey, nothing but respect for him. Love me some Dylan Brooks on Team Canada. Team Canada. My question would be, why is Rudy Gobert dribbling the ball on the perimeter? Asking for a friend? He's watching too much Wemby highlights? Is that what's going on? Dylan Brooks, man, just ready to shoot. Daniel says, hey, everyone, happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday indeed. We got Canada basketball on. What more do you need on a Friday afternoon? It's so funny watching Gobert. It's like he's trying really hard to be Wemby. A lot more ball handling from Gobert that I'm used to seeing. Dylan Brooks with the matchup on Wemby. Jeez. And that was great defense from Dylan Brooks, right? Like, great defense there from Dylan Brooks. There's just nothing you can do. When Wemby decides he's turning around and shooting, how are you stopping that? RJ to the cup the other way. Like, look at this shot. Like, you can't do anything about that. That's just crazy. Like, this is what Wemby is right now. What's that guy look like in 4 years? What's he look like this upcoming year in the NBA? Like, it's just crazy to think about how good this guy is already. Canada up by 7 points here. Jeez. Like Victor Wembanyama at the top of the key. First off, the screen and roll between two 7-footers in terms of Rudy Gobert and Wemby. Wemby with the step back three over Dwight Powell, banking it. And it's tough if you're Dwight Powell, right? Like you're trying to contest, and he's not really trying, like he's not going full out on the contest, but he's contesting. But Wemby doesn't have enough space to land. But either way, I mean, he made sure he got enough arc on his shot, enough that he banks it in. This is just insane. But you can't stop Shea, man. Shea is so good. Shea is just, he's so good. It's like he can score whenever he wants. 13 points in the first half for Shea. Look at that. Wemby. yo, this defense from Canada, Dort and Dillon Brooks doubling Wemby. This is incredible, man. Like that's just an amazing, like NBA teams would dream to have that perimeter defense that Canada has between Lou Dort and Dillon Brooks. Wow, Frank Ntilikina. I was about to say he's still in the league, but this isn't the league. Frank Ntilikina, like I have no concept of how old Frank Ntilikina is because it seems like in my mind he got drafted so long ago that it's somewhat surprising he's still hooping. But then again, I guess that's like Nando De Colo, same thing. Like that's a name that's been around for so long, right? I will say it's really good to see Kem Birch out there. Been battling a lot of injuries the last couple of years, and it's good to see him out there. And obviously, Canada needs the size, right? So that's also a huge plus to have him out there. Right now, Birch out there with Dillon Brooks, RJ, Nemhard, and Shea. And this is really what these games are about, right? Getting to throw out a bunch of different lineups and seeing Shea play with Nemhard, You're trying out different lineups, letting guys get comfortable playing with each other. That's really what this is about, right? Getting to see that. Somehow that's still Canada's ball. Not sure I agree, but sure. We'll take it. Yo, Dillon Brooks. Yo, Brooks going behind the back. Yo, that's all Dillon Brooks. Yo, RJ, man. RJ. He's missed some chippies in this game, but let's talk about the job Dillon Brooks is doing on Wemby right there. He's just bodying them, right? Like he is bullying Wemby, who's trying to get position. He can't, and then that forced a turnover. RJ should have been able to finish that, but end of the day, man, Dillon Brooks and Dort, let's go. I'm excited for the Olympics. I'm not going to apologize for that because this is what, like, if you love basketball, the Olympics is the best. Best on best. You're seeing the best players in the world. You're seeing them rep for their country. And now to see that Canada is a part of that in a real way. Like, I'm old. So I remember watching and cheering for Steve Nash and them when they made the tournament the last time. And Big shouts to my guy Sherm. But like the fact that it's taken so long for Canada to get back there, but now the way that they are there is with all these NBA players. I'm not sure that I fathomed that 20 years ago. Look at that Hezzy. Yo, Shea. This is awesome, right? Like Shea, Wemby. Look at these shots from Wemby, man. I will say it would have been good to see Jamal play in this game, though. Wow. That's how you're feeling, Dylan Brooks? Okay. RJ. Big three from RJ. He needed that. He needed to see something go down. Also good for Canada. Get on the glass. Like anytime Wemby's involved and you can get a rebound, you take that, right? Feel free to send in your comments and questions. And remember to like and subscribe to the video as well. That's how you support the pod. We really appreciate that. Super simple, right? You jump on the feed, bless us with a like. No harm. No harm to you, right? Also, send in what kind of content you want to hear from us, right? Look at Dylan Brooks, man. Look at Dylan Brooks. Ah, it's crazy to great defensive possession there from Dylan Brooks. That looked like an NBA foul there. DeColo with the swim through on RJ. Also, I'm going to give this reminder a bunch during the game, but going forward, if you're watching this on the Canada Hoops Daily page, just know that page will not exist soon. Make sure you subscribe to the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page. That's where you will be able to find all of our content. You know, whether it's Raptors, whether it's Canada basketball, that's where you can find the video content on YouTube going forward. It's on the Sheldon Alexander page. The Canada Hoops Daily content will still exist. The page just moves over to Sheldon Alexander. So just giving y'all a heads up now, because soon that page will not be there. Oof. 3.1 on the shot clock, maybe a little too. The ball just kind of stuck there a little with Nemhard. Rare you see that happen in international play. Couldn't get that one off really before the shot clock. Canada up 42-37 here. 37.9 seconds left in the second quarter. Little defense offense sub here. Shea subs out. Nikhil comes in. These are the little things, right? As Jordy gets prepared for the actual Olympic Games, having the ability to do that, defense, offense subs with NBA talent, like rotational NBA talent. Like we watched Nikhil ball in the playoffs just now. We watched Nemhard ball in the NBA playoffs just now. This is incredible. Look at that steal. That's what I'm talking about. Good follow. Right? Making your coach look good if you're Nikhil Alexander Walker there, right? 40 seconds left. The coach subs you in for Shea. Obviously, he's bringing you in for your defense, and you reward him with the big time steal. Like, it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, no? Is that a foul? Uh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that call there. Again, of note, huge shouts to the people watching on the Canada Hoops Daily page. Mad blessings and shouts to y'all. Really appreciate y'all cooking with us. Make sure you go and make sure you go and follow the Sheldon Alexander feed on YouTube. That's a tough one right there. That's a foul. Wow. Oh, almost had it right there at the buzzer. Developing play. It seemed like there's 10 seconds still on the clock there. Nemhard just misses the floater at the buzzer. Canada leads 44-40 at halftime over Team France. Solid start for Canada. I mean, and you're thinking there's no Jamal Murray, too. Canada looks really good as a squad. They really do against France, who's going to be one of the big boys, one of the top teams in this Olympic tournament coming up. So great start for Canada. Oh, I guess they're calling this game from Toronto with who's this Vaughn Shepard. They must be calling this off the tube, I'd assume, in Toronto. Either way, solid start so far for Team Canada. And the interesting part for me in watching this was just seeing how smooth Shea still is, man. Shea, you realize it, and it was interesting, right? Yesterday we were watching the Team USA game, or not yesterday, Wednesday. We're watching USA and Serbia. And you're thinking, of course, Team USA is filled with all stars. And then you see Serbia with obviously Nikola Jokic. I don't know how I drew a blank there, but watching Joker play for his country, and now to think that as Team Canada, we got one of those guys who is one of the best players in the world. And you're seeing what Jokic was doing with his squad, where he had to do everything. And now we got one of those guys, but it's not necessarily the same scenario as Shea has more help on his team. And it's still so stunning to me in the sense of like, wow, how did we get here? This is amazing. It is. It really is cool to see. Canada leading at the half. And I really think too, let's take some comments and questions, what people are saying at the half. I'll check the Twitter sphere, get some commentary from you know, our great Canadian journalists who are also happen to be covering this here. Josh Lewinberg letting us know that Dylan Brooks getting booed in France as well, which is pretty funny. Um, Dylan Brooks is 8 points in the first half and is holding Wemby to 5 points. I mean, that's just a great matchup there for Dylan Brooks, right? Dylan Brooks, I don't know, man. He's just a gamer. And I think when you watch a lot of sports, especially a game like basketball, I think the same thing applies in hockey. Same thing applies in football. They're just guys who are gamers, right? Like there's no stat that's going to quantify the full value of what a guy like Dylan Brooks brings to the team, but just that not afraid of anything, right? He's just gritty, just like he's not backing down. He's always in the mix. He's not afraid to go right at LeBron. You know what I mean? So like no moment's too big. I just think that's amazing. And a great start for sure for Dylan Brooks. Great start for Shea, who has 13 points. And there's been some talk about how slippery the floor is, as sometimes happens with these international courts and like all the ads and the weird painting that goes on some of these courts. But Shea's looked good so far. Dylan Brooks has been great. Wembenyama continues to just be such a like he's an alien, right? Like it is the perfect name. And I feel like we were watching him do things and taking it for granted because it doesn't make sense. Some of the things we watch Victor Wembanyama do and do easily, right? It just doesn't make sense at all. But that also to me is just why it ends up being so awesome to be able to watch just what not only Wemby's able to do, but what he's able to do at his size and his skill set and the guard skills. Like he doesn't even play in the paint really. You know, it seems like when he gets the ball in the paint, he ends up dribbling it out of the paint and then making a play or taking a fadeaway jumper. Things that, again, we shouldn't be seeing guys his size do. But that's just amazing. I love the fact that we're here with Team Canada and being able to watch the different lineups that they're able to put out there and having a guy like Andrew Nemhard be able to sub in and be able to just have another sheer creator, someone else that can break down the defense and get either himself a shot or get, you know, hit on one of his teammates a shot. That's so important, right? And especially when you got shooters lined up, you know, you can have uh RJ and you can have Jamal Murray, you can have Dylan Brooks, Kelly, you know, you have those guys lined up and ready to shoot threes. It's just a great spot to be. Great spot to be if you're Team Canada. I'm curious as to how these things break down. I want to know like what people think, what the expectations are for the fans, for Canadian fans. Is it medal or bust? Like, does Canada have to medal? I want to know what people think about that for sure. Oh, that's super interesting. It's so weird how I guess in the States, Canada and France is streaming on the NBA's YouTube page, but not available in Canada. How does that make sense? I guess CBC has all the rights to these games, I guess. Or I guess because the game's on CBC Gem, that qualifies as digital rights. Yeah, I guess that's it. Weird. I just don't understand like creating barriers to stop people from wanting to watch this stuff. Right? Like that's the thing. Like I get that Olympic rights cost a lot. Like I understand that, but I also think that there are so few of these games in terms of watching, you know, your best players play at the highest level. Why are we putting up barriers in terms of letting people enjoy this? Like, isn't it just better for the promotion to build up the expectation to, you know, be at a point where you're getting people hyped up to go watch these games? I don't know. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. We'll be back with the second half shortly. Just going to take a little bit of a break here, but we'll be back for the second half of this game here as Canada is up 44 to 40 at halftime. We'll be back very shortly. Ruben saying, I tried the NBA Canada one before. Yeah, I mean, CBC Gem, as long as you have like a Google account or whatever, a Gmail account, see, you should be able to sign up for CBC Gem pretty easily and just log in there and be able to get a stream. But yeah, again, I was going to say something that I should not say into a live mic, so I will just shut up. Oh, man. I'm going to be back in a couple minutes here. Just going to wait for the second half to start. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Canada and France back for second half action here. My question is I wonder what people's mentality is. Like, if you're the two coaches, are you trying to win this game? Like, how do you manage the minutes here in the second half? You know, does it matter? Like, obviously, it doesn't matter if you win this game, but I forgot about Nick Batum as well, right? He's got to be on France, but he's not playing in this one. I forgot about Nick Batum. How could I forget about Nick Batum? But my overall question is, like how much do you play your starters in the second half of this game? Like, are you playing this game to win, or are you just playing this game to make sure guys are ready to go? You know, that'll be interesting to see, especially as it's such a close game, especially as you got to play this team in group play, right? I mean, Canada is not matched up. It's going to be interesting, right? Because if you're Canada, you might end up running into France at some point in the Olympics, but you also got to get some winning time reps, right? You can't have too many winning time reps heading into a high stakes tournament like this. And if you're Canada, your group, I mean, anyone's group is tough in the Olympics, right? Because there's just not that many teams involved. But, you're talking Spain, you're talking Greece and Giannis, you're talking Australia, who gave the US a good go. You might want to take these reps where you're trying to play your guys the whole way through and try to win this game. Big three there from Evan Fournier. RJ probably should have shot that. He was wide open. Canada up by one here. Dylan Brooks with the left. Try to get the left to go, then picks up a chintzy foul. Tough one there. Dylan Brooks getting booed so hard. It's pretty funny. But I mean, I get it. He's going at their guy Wemby, right? How do you say Dylan the villain in French? Great block from Lou Dort. Wow. That's how you're feeling, Lou? Okay. Yo, that's not a foul, man. I feel bad for Dylan Brooks because, like, what's he supposed to do there? He's not supposed to let this 7'6" guy just dribble with the ball out like that. Like, he's guarding him. Look at that replay. What a block from Lou. Just a heads up, if you're watching this right now on the YouTube page, that is the Canada Hoops Daily page. That stream is about to end. We will watch the end of this game only on YouTube on the Sheldon Alexander page. So if you are on the Canada Hoops Daily YouTube page, make sure you jump off and switch over to the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page because that is where this live stream will exist to end the game. Yo, how's that not a foul? And then they're going to call that. And that's where, I understand the frustration if you're Dylan Brooks there, right? That's where you understand the frustration. Dylan Brooks gets fouled, no call. I don't get it. Again, for my peoples on the Canada Hoops Daily page, make sure you go over now to the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page and you will be able to watch that stream there. I'll put the link in the chat. Hold on a second here. Where am I here? Well, let me just put it in the chat, huh? Here we are. Evan Fournier with the step back, Jimmy. Nothing there. And I get it. You might as well let Dylan Brooks play. Like if he fouls out, doesn't matter. It's exhibition, right? You want him to get as much reps as possible on Wemby. RJ has really struggled in this game. I don't know what it is, but RJ's really struggled in this one. A lot of turnovers, just sloppy turnovers for RJ. RJ's going to be a guy Canada's going to rely on a lot too if they're going to make a run to the medal, to the podium here. So look at that ball movement. Lyles with a great open look, but not able to make a drop. That's just veteran play there from Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Vet move there from Shea, right? Your team's struggling. Your team needs a bucket. You need to get it going. What do? You put your head down, you get to the free throw line, you get your team some points. That's what you do as a leader, right? As a leader, you need to be the guy that your team depends on when things aren't going well. And obviously, and that's to start the second half. Canada's been struggling. Shea makes sure, let me get some points on the board here. Shea finds Lou. France is a real team, man. France is a real. RJ needing RJ there for sure. Big bucket there. Trey Lyles getting a look on Wemby here. That's just a tough matchup. I don't think that's a foul either. I mean, what are you supposed to do as a defender? Like Wemby, it's an ultimate cheat code. Oh, slipped on the court. We were talking about that earlier, right? Look at RJ. Trey Lyles there trying to make the basic play, dropping it back to Lou. Or no, maybe he's trying to bounce pass it to RJ. RJ calling for the alley oop though. And if you're Trey Lyles, I kind of understand. You might not want to, take a chance and toss an alley oop in that situation, right? That's a tough one. It's a big ask from one of your big guys, right? Again, big shouts to all the people tuning into this right now on the different streams. Obviously, there's, we got a Twitch stream up, we got a IG live up, and we got the YouTube page up. Different places where you can watch. You can find the On Blast podcast on Twitch. You can find Sheldon Alexander on YouTube and the Canada Hoops Daily Instagram page. Bunch of places where you can watch along this Canada US game for sure. With us here as a family. Summer of basketball. Got a question in the chat here from Aisha says, what kind of a problem does France have with Dylan? I feel like Dylan Brooks just has that personality. You hate playing against him. You hate when he's on the opposite team, but you love him when he's on your team. And he's bullying Wemby, right? He's doing what he should be doing. So I get why they're a little frustrated with Dylan. Canada up 49-45, and I don't know, man. Rudy Gobert. It's just something about Rudy Gobert that rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. Oh, okay, Canada ball. France trying to play a little full court press here. The spacing from Canada, you could tell they need a little more reps, right? Like, wow. RJ. Aggressive there, right? Aggressive. RJ, as we mentioned, right? He's been struggling with the shot in this game or struggling to get opportunities, but a big time take to the basket there for RJ. Get to the line, get some easy points. It's been a grind for Canada in this second half so far, but RJ doing the job. Oof, offensive foul. That's Canada playing the pesky pressure defense, right? They're not making anything easy on France. They're fighting over screens. They're fighting for every inch of the court, and you get rewarded. Oof. Great rebound there from Dwight Powell. Canada can't get the bucket though. Oof. Ah. It's like Canada's getting the turnovers, but they can't capitalize on the other end. RJ again, right? Just get downhill, get to the cup, get to the free throw line, get easy buckets. RJ being aggressive, right? That's what you want to see. It's a tough bucket. Did Rudy Gobert? Rudy Gobert didn't play in the World Cup last year, did he? I don't feel like he did. Did he? I don't remember. Hmm. I remember Fournier. Look at the defense from Nikhil, right? Even Trey Lyles on the perimeter. Look at that defense from Canada. And that's how they're going to have to play. And that's the beauty of having so much depth. Nemhard throwing it off Kelly. Turnover there from Nikhil. Canada's lucky there. That three from DeColo did not go in. That would have been a tough one. They were off to the races. France been able to keep it close with Canada, though. They've hung around, hung around, hung around. And that's where things get tricky, right? You don't want to give teams a chance to hang around because you never know what happens late. You don't want to leave room for the questionable refereeing that always somehow seems to come into play in international play. Strong take. And Canada's been running this set, right? Where they get the screens, get RJ getting to his left hand, able to turn the corner on that screen and get downhill. This time he gets all the way to the cup. And we've seen that building, right? Because the last few plays before that, RJ was only able, he was getting to the line, he's getting fouled. This time he's able to get all the way downhill because, after you foul him twice as a defender, you're going to try to not do it again, right? Obviously, what does that lead to? RJ stays aggressive. So that leads to him getting all the way to the cup. Hey, Raptors connection there. And RJ, that's where having a little more familiarity, even though it's Canada and RJ and Kelly have played the last couple of years for Canada, but playing with the Raps, that's more day to day. Kelly, big time three from Kelly. Timeout, France. Canada extending the lead 60 to 51. A little 5-0 run from Kelly O. Okay. And this is the part that I think, I've talked about the depth the whole time this game's been on, right? But watching Canada basketball the last few years, how many times were you able to see a run come like this without Shea being on the floor, right? But now you're seeing the depth added to Team Canada where Shea can go to the bench and things don't fall apart offensively. Kelly, who used to be a starter for the most part, has now moved to a role on the bench. But now having Nemhard, more experience and confidence gained from Nikhil Alexander Walker as well, who keep emphasizing it, played real major minutes for the T Wolves in the NBA playoffs last year. That stuff all matters, right? The drop off when Shea goes to the bench isn't the same that we've seen the last little bit from, that we saw in the World Cup last year, right? When Shea went to the bench, scoring got tough. He got more depth. And this is without Jamal Murray. Sorry, I'm trying not to get too excited here, but at the same time, how can he not be? I guess I should tweet out the link again for the peoples. Okay, Kelly. Okay, Kelly. Kelly, yeah. Trey Lyles is someone I haven't talked enough about, but Trey Lyles also brings some more depth to the Canada front court as well, as they're pretty thin on that front line, right? You're mostly talking about Powell and Kelly, but having Lyles be able to take some of those minutes as well or play with alongside those guys, it just helps. It just helps. Mac, my guy Mac, RJ and Kelly leading the second half. Raptors winning the chip. LOL. Obviously being facetious, right? But it's like, ooh, Ooh, show and go Hezzy from Nemhard. Did he get that move from Shea? Feel like he might have gotten that move from Shea. But going back to RJ and Kelly, like that stuff matters, right? You play every day with Kelly in Toronto now. That stuff matters. France needed that 3-pointer in the worst way. Hold on. I don't know who that guy is. Who is that just hit a three for France? But he's whooping up the crowd, hyping up the crowd, pointing, saying, "This is my house," or at least that's what it looks like he's saying. It's like, bro, you're losing. And it's an exhibition game. Am I wrong? Like, what's going on here? Why is my guy so amped up? Anyways, end of the third quarter, Canada 64-58. And I mean, listen, they needed that three in the worst way because they were sputtering there. Kelly Olynyk went on a great run, great bench minutes there from Team Canada. And that's really the difference too. If you're these international squads, a lot of them aren't really that deep, or like the drop off in talent between their starters to their bench. That is a difference in a lot of these games. So if Canada is able to get great bench minutes from Nemhard and Nikhil and Kelly, that's huge, 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 huge for Team Canada. It's so crazy to think about how that third quarter went to if you're Team Canada. Started off the third quarter struggling, couldn't buy a bucket. Shea finally gets to the cup, gets fouled, is able to get to the free throw line, put some points on the board, and then Canada didn't really turn back after that. You know, they were able to extend the lead. And then especially when you go to your bench and Kelly Olynyk is able to get busy, get some points then, right? Like it's just such a crazy, crazy flip of events or turn of events, I should say. But I just love what I'm seeing here from the fact that Canada is able to get offensive creation, right? 'Cause sometimes it's not even all about points. Sometimes it's just about how you're able to create your offense. Shea checks back in and just immediately cooks. And that's the beauty of it, right? Things didn't fall apart when Shea went to the bench. He comes back on, you run a play for him right away, able to hit the mid range jumper, extend that lead back to 8 for Canada. Big three there for this guy again. Yabusele, he's the one who hit the three. He was talking trash, back-to-back threes for him. Shea again. Defense starting to collapse on Shea there. They knew he wasn't giving that up. Uh, oh, I thought they didn't call that. Okay. Yabusele saying, wait a second, that's what happened to me on the other end. I get what he's saying. No, that's a foul. That's a foul. I got to see the Yabusele play again, but Shea definitely got fouled. I thought Shea was going to give that back up possibly, but then it's like, nah, Shea gets buckets. He's a professional bucket getter. He was not giving that ball up. Yes, Batum. Ruben says Yabusele thinks he's Draymond. I mean, Yeah, I mean, listen, whatever my guy needs to get hyped up for France, cool. More power to him. Not gonna knock him. That's what he needs to do to get hype. I mean, they're still losing, and this is still an exhibition game, but sure. Look at the defense from Canada. Like their ability to stay in front of their defender. That's a tough shot. Their ability to stay in front of the defender. They have a guy helping, but the guy helping is then able to retreat to the 3-point line to contest. It's just listen, man, they're buying into Jordy. This also helps having your core, right? You're building on what you've already accomplished last summer. The fundamentals of how you play, you're building on that. This game is so crazy. Shea has 17 points, and it's like I feel like I've seen him drop 17, but at the same time, like that kind of jumped out at me. Like I wasn't sure about that number. Hey, my guy Q sending me a message asking what channel's the game on. If people are looking for the game, you just got to go to CBC Gem. CBCGem.com, and then log in with like your Gmail account or whatever. I just there's so much I want to say about this that I'm just like it's not worth saying into a live microphone, but it still shouldn't be this difficult for people to tune in and watch basketball. It really shouldn't be this difficult, right? Like this should just be on TV. There's like 10 million channels. Anyways, story for another day. Kem Birch. Good to see Kem Birch. Wemby checks back in. They don't even give him a touch. And that should be illegal, right? Like if you're France, you're down in the fourth quarter by 7. Wemby checks back in the game. You don't even give him a look. Meanwhile, at the other end, Shea comes down. He's definitely getting a touch and splashes a three. And look at him. And look at the bad man pose on the bench. Yo, Shea. Shea's too cool, man. Shea's too cool. Yo, you need the I'm a bad, bad boy. Yo, Shea comes down so calmly, hits that three, then posts up on the bench like, yeah, I'm him. He knows it. But my overall point, right? Like, as that played out, Wemby is posting up, wanting the ball. And I don't know who the dude is on France, but he decided, no, I'm going to shoot a three instead of trying to find Wemby. How does that make sense? Flip side, Canada's version of Wemby comes right down the floor, hits the bucket. I don't know, man. Sometimes basketball can be so simple. I do want to say what's up to all the people that are watching right now, wherever you happen to be watching. I know we got multiple streams going right now. We got the Canada Hoops Daily IG page. We got that up and running. Big shouts to the people watching there. Thank you for that. We got the Sheldon Alexander YouTube account and also the On Blast Podcast Twitch account. Those are the three places you got the stream up right now. But we will be pushing everybody to the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page. That's where you'll be able to watch these live watch alongs, these Canada Hoops daily live hangouts will be on the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page. That's how you'll be able to tune in and watch along as we watch as a family. As Canada tries to make history by medaling at the Olympics. Um, we got it up on these different places now, but everything will be pushed towards the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page. Just letting you know, that's where we'll be. If you're ever wondering, if you ever need someone to watch the game with, as Kelly splashes in a three. Great game from Kelly O. He's feeling it. Shea's feeling it. Smiles all around. Canada up 13 with 6.5 minutes left to go in the game. Look at that defense. That's big time defense there, too, from Kelly. Yo, you got to give credit there to Kelly and to Kem Birch. Kem Birch was guarding on the perimeter on the other side there, forcing that pass. Gets to Wemby at the top of the key. Kelly stays with him as Wemby hits him with the step back three, and he front rims it. Why? Because Kelly was right there contesting it. Credit where credit is due. And this is where it's funny too, right? Because like Fournier is their like perimeter guy. He's trying to guard Shea. Shea is looking at Fournier like that's food. France looking like they're scrambling here on offense. I always forget France's Jordan team. We need Shea to be Jordan team, and then Canada would be Jordan team, right? Big rebound from Kem Birch. I'm so happy to see Kem Birch back out there, man. Guy that's dealt with a lot of injuries, but kept fighting, kept fighting. I do wonder though, what would have happened? Would these be Zach Edey minutes? That's not a move. That's a moving screen, right? Yeah. Nemhard in for Shea. Shea might be done for the night, depending on how close this game gets. Right. And this is what I'm talking about. Remember, the bench, I almost said the Raptors bench. Canada's bench was doing it. Shea comes on, scores right away. Shea goes back to the bench. Nemhard comes on, scores right away. This is just a beautiful thing to watch. It's now a 15-point lead for Team Canada. And this just ballooned out of nowhere. And you see France going back to like they got sloppy for a while, and then they realize, oh yeah, our advantage is inside. And they go right to Gobert and one. Batum likes that. Batum will be a big ad for that team, though. Huge ad. He's just a vet. People who follow what we do here, I talk a lot about having grown-ups around and how important that is to whatever you're doing, right? And Batum definitely is a grown-up. And I would say France definitely needs grown-ups. Big shouts to the people watching on the YouTube page. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Bless us the video with the like, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know whenever we're live doing a watch along during this Olympics. Also going to be doing some pods at random points as well. Maybe I'll do one next week before, kind of as an Olympic preview. That's a foul? Jeez. I don't know about that call. Canada up 13 here with 4 minutes left in this game. And you're seeing a lot of guys slip and fall, and that's where, people get worried about what's happening here, right? Because you see them sweeping. Well, first off, the gym looks like it's hot as people are fanning themselves in this gym. Right? And look at what France is doing. France is saying, okay, we're going back to our advantage. We're going down low, finding Gobert, which is what really they should have been doing for a very long time, right? Shea checks back into the game, goes right to work, not able to hit that one though. This is an interesting lineup for Canada. See, that's great scouting there from Canada. If you watched a bunch of these France games so far, Wemby and Gobert have been running that two-man game, and it's been super easy for them because basically it's almost like volleyball where Wemby's just the setter and Gobert slamming down spikes as dunks. But like Canada, you saw they defended that perfectly. I know there's a foul call there, but that's kind of what you have to do. You can't allow them to just get that easy pick and roll and throw down the dunk. Jeez. Good rebound there from Nemhard. And on that shot, you just want to make his shots harder if you're Dylan Brooks, and that's what he did there, right? Wemby's able to get that shot off, but he didn't get it off right away. He had to take it to the step back because Dylan Brooks is right there. You just want to make his looks a little more difficult because you're not going to block his shot. Interesting lineup here for Canada. 250 here left in the game. Canada working with RJ, Dylan Brooks, Dwight Powell. Then you got Nemhard and Shea. Looks like Nemhard might have just subbed out. I think Nemhard just subbed out. Nope, Nemhard's still in the game. So Shea and Nemhard getting backcourt minutes together. And I think this is really important, right? Because Jamal Murray's going to fit in, but you really just need Jamal Murray to get buckets. Nemhard getting a lot of minutes now and getting comfortable in just being aggressive because he's going to have a lot of those second unit minutes where you're going to need him to lead. I think that's really big, and that's really cool that, if there's a blessing in not having Jamal Murray for this game, it's that you're getting to extend Nemhard a lot more and letting Nemhard play with Shea. 13-point lead for Team Canada. Someone asking how many points does SGA have? Our last check was 17. Let me see here. Boris Diaw. Yo, Boris Diaw, like, gone full salt and pepper. Okay, Boris Diaw. I wonder if Boris. I wonder if Boris can still hoop. Like, he always had the old man game, anyways, right? How's that not an offensive foul? Right? Like, Wemby is blatantly pushing him off. France trying to play bully ball now, and like, they're in a weird spot. I wonder how their team will go forward here, but they got to use their advantage of being bigger than most other teams. But Gobert also really isn't that dude. Big three there from RJ. RJ struggled to start this game, but he really finished off strong, especially that third quarter push where he had some minutes there with Kelly and the bench. RJ up to 20 points. And, you know, he struggled a bit, but what I liked that he did in that third quarter was he got to the cup, got some foul shots. And then, after that happens, it's okay. What is that? Yo, Gobert. Yo, poor. Like, first off, he stepped out of bounds. That's not a foul. And then he throws the ball off Dwight Powell's face. Poor Dwight Powell having to deal with Gobert, and then remember the elbow from Joel Embiid in the USA game last week. Yabusele feeling himself. My guy like hits an and 1 3, which I don't actually think was a foul, and he's hyped up again. But it's like, bro, you're down like 10, bro. He's like posing for the crowd, down 10 in an exhibition game. Like, come on, man. Oh, I love basketball. I'm sorry. Yabusele going to the line here, and it's like my guy has 18 points. Yabusele, and he's feeling himself. I mean, he's been pretty good for France. They're battling. 10-point game, minute and a half left, but they haven't been able to get stops, and that's been a credit to Canada's guards. What a pass. Great pass from Nemhard to Dwight Powell. Someone in the chat is asking for how many points guys have. The box scores that are online, because this is an exhibition Olympic game, box scores aren't up to date. So, like right now, this one box score I'm looking at that's on NBA.com, or I should say on what is this, Sporting News. It's in the third quarter still. Let's see what NBA.com is saying. Hey, Canada emptying the bench. It's a positive sign for Canada. Great start for Canada. Shea just adding to his solid game here. You're right. Another reason why I don't like Gobert. Exactly. He didn't have to throw the ball in his face like that, right? Just a sucker move, and then he pretend like he didn't mean to do it, but you did. Canada emptying out their bench. You see Melvin Edgem, the scrubs are in. This is big for Canada. You know, France is one of the big teams in the tournament. So to be able to play against them, I know that Batum's not in their lineup, but you know, they played with Wemby, they played with Gobert, and Canada not playing with Jamal Murray, but they're able to put up a solid dub. That's a big win right there. Yeah, this is like so far out of sync. The live stats. And France is going to wind the clock down. A big win for Canada. 12-point win against France. Canada looked good. Shea looked calm and cool. The depth of Team Canada proving to be a big time factor. And the way that Canada does it is with their depth. And I think like that's a big part of it. And now with their depth, they're also able to up their defense, right? Because Shea knows that he can go all out and then go to the bench and they have other guys to fill in and there's not going to be, you know, a drastic, huge, massive drop off, you know? You got to give credit. This was a very close game until the third quarter when Canada's bench was able to really open the game up. Credit where credit's due, Canada's depth and their defense, and they were just ready for this game. Canada and Puerto Rico on Sunday. We'll be back for that game as well. We'll watch that game together. It's been a lot of fun. I'll try to do a pod at some point because the pod we'll try to do like an Olympic breakdown. I'm not really gonna do a pod post game on this exhibition game because if you want to watch it, you're gonna watch it, and if not, you're not. But Ruben asking if is Murray okay? Yes. Canada basketball said that he was just resting, and yeah, they said there's nothing wrong with him, no injury. They just said he's resting. I really think that the part to remember is there's a big contract situation going on with Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets right now. If you remember during the playoffs or right after they were eliminated, even towards a draft, Shams or Woj, I can't remember who it was, but they reported that the Nuggets were close to a deal, and then we never heard anything about it after that. So now if you pay attention, and this is me reading between the lines, so I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying I'm reading between some lines here. But if you think about what happened, you saw the Kawhi situation play out with the Clippers not wanting Kawhi to play. You saw obviously Zach Edey was supposed to be on Team Canada, and the Grizzlies, I'm guessing, didn't want him to play. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that the Nuggets and Jamal, there's been some back and forth, would be my assumption, right? And so if that's the case, and the team might be worried about, hey, we're going to give you hundreds of millions of dollars right now. Are you sure you want to play for the Olympics? And credit to Jamal Murray, he does, right? He's shown up for Canada, and if not for injury, would have played in last summer's World Cup, But I just think Jamal Murray at this point, if you're able to play in the Olympics, you're going to save your bullets for the Olympics. You don't really need to go out there and play in exhibition games. So, hey, as long as he's healthy and he's okay, especially if you watch this game and saw how many people were falling down because of the way the court was, the amount of players falling down, the hardest working people in the building appeared to be the staff that was sweeping up and mopping up the floor. So you add that into the equation. I totally understand why, if you're Jamal Murray, about to sit on another 100 and something M's, why you might be hesitating to step in and say, hey, I'm going to play in this game, in this exhibition game. No harm, no foul. I'm not worried. Until they tell me he's not playing, I'm not worried. I see him there. He's on the bench in where are they? Where was this game? In Orleans, right? Like, listen, he's in France. He's there. Until they say he's not playing, I'm going to believe he's playing. So, hey. Also, too, I talked about this earlier on during the game. If you remember back, right, like this happens a lot where there's a lot of back and forth between the certain teams and the countries when it comes down to Olympic play. And if you go back and remember, there are some years for the Canadian national team with Steve Nash, right, where he was dealing with injuries or he was dealing with contract situations where he ended up playing, but they watched his minutes very carefully. They didn't, play him the full game as they might normally do. They didn't play him the full load of minutes that he would normally play in pre-tournament games or exhibition games. You save all that for the actual tournament. And the reality of the situation is we're seeing it in this game, right? Canada has enough to survive against good teams. So Jamal Murray, of course you want him when it's medal time. You want him when it's elimination time. You want him to be able to play all those minutes, get those buckets when it's that time, right? This, not worried about it yet. Now, once the Olympics starts, and if he's not playing then, we'll have a different conversation. But until then, hey, everything's cool if you ask me. No complaints here. A solid showing from Team Canada as they, take care of business and beat France 85-73. Canada will play Puerto Rico on Sunday in their next exhibition game. As Olympics are right around the corner. right around the corner. Canada is almost ready for it, and a great showing today. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had 23 points in this one. RJ with 21. Kelly Olynyk with 14. Nemhard with 10. Just a great look from Team Canada. And I mean, having no Jamal Murray, like, it's weird to say this. It is very weird to say this, and that's why I'm hesitating as I say it. But like, they didn't need Jamal Murray in this game. I'm not saying that's going to be the case in the Olympics. I'm not saying that France with Batum isn't a better team. I'm not saying that France, France is one of the better teams in the whole Olympic tournament, right? But it's weird to say that, Jamal Murray didn't play in this game. Canada still looked really, really good. I don't know, man. They got Shea and they got Nemhard has been a huge addition because Shea doesn't have to carry the burden of the ball, all the ball handling responsibilities, all the playmaking responsibilities, all the defensive guarding responsibilities. Like, it's just a beautiful thing to see. Shea can, have some reserve in the tank when he came in this game and just iced it with that big time three late. And we got one of those dudes. We got one of those dudes. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I don't think I'm going to do a pod for this, like breaking down the game, or maybe I will. I don't know. Depends on the mood. But as of now, thank y'all for tuning in. Again, if you want to watch these watch alongs, know that we'll be up on the Sheldon Alexander YouTube page. That's where you can find these watch alongs. We'll watch the Olympics as a family. We'll watch Canada games. We'll watch some US games. You can find us streaming on YouTube. Sheldon Alexander is where you find it. Stay tuned to the social media accounts for Canada Hoops Daily. You can find us there as well. As mentioned, Canada pulls out the victory 85-73 pre-Olympic friendly, I guess they're calling it, or exhibition game. As mentioned, Canada wins 85-73. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 23 points. RJ with 21. Until next time, we'll break it all down. Maybe I will do a quick wrap-up pod just to have that. I'll post the pod. The video will be up on the Sheldon Alexander page, all that fun stuff as well. Just to recap, go over some quick thoughts as to what happened. But appreciate y'all watching these live hangouts. Don't hesitate to join in, send questions as we go along. We'll chat and discuss everything and all things Canada basketball. As I always say, you should pray for times like this to rhyme like this. This is Canada Hoops Daily live hangout. Canada wins pre-Olympic friendly against France. We're almost there, people. It's almost medal time. Canada is ready. As mentioned, we'll be ready to watch it all unfold here. Till next time, see ya.